The Cold War didn't just shape politics, it transformed everyday survival. Between the 1950s and 1960s, the world lived under the constant shadow of nuclear threat. Families weren't just hearing about it on the news, they were acting on it. Basements were stocked with canned goods, schools ran duck-and-cover drills, and makeshift fallout shelters popped up behind suburban homes. But what's often overlooked is that some of the most effective survival methods didn't come from government mandates or military engineering manuals. They came from ordinary people using ingenuity, resourcefulness, and a deep understanding of natural forces. One of these forgotten methods, known today as the Earth Cradle Shelter, offers lessons for both history enthusiasts and modern survivalists that are as relevant now as they were 60 years ago. The simplest solution was often the most effective. Government fallout shelters of the era were expensive, concrete-heavy, and required complex ventilation systems. Many families couldn't afford them. Necessity, however, breeds innovation. The Earth Cradle Shelter took advantage of something ancient and reliable: soil itself. By partially burying a structure into a gentle slope, lining walls with packed earth, and covering the roof with several feet of compacted soil, builders could create a chamber that blocked up to 90% of radiation. Tests conducted decades later revealed that these simple, earth-filled shelters often outperformed more sophisticated government designs. Their strength wasn't just in shielding. They were livable, a feature that made them exceptional compared to sealed concrete bunkers that quickly became damp, suffocating traps. The natural world provided what technology could not. The genius of the Earth Cradle Shelter wasn't only its ability to absorb radiation, it was the way it worked with the environment. Soil provides natural insulation, maintaining a constant underground temperature of roughly 55 degrees Fahrenheit or 13 degrees Celsius. This meant occupants remained relatively comfortable, whether facing a harsh nuclear winter or, the summer heat above ground. On top of that, a simple but clever airflow system kept air circulating without electricity. By installing one vent low and another slightly higher, warm air naturally rose and exited, pulling in cooler air from outside. This passive system, tested during nuclear simulations, kept shelters habitable far longer than closed concrete rooms. For modern off-grid builders or storm shelter enthusiasts, this principle is just as useful today. You can replicate these designs safely and effectively. Building a shelter based on the Earth Cradle principles is straightforward. A shallow excavation of 4 to 5 feet allows for a partially buried structure, with walls reinforced using timber, sandbags, or stabilized earth bricks. Wooden beams or corrugated metal can span the roof, then be covered with 2 to 3 feet of compacted soil. Angling the entrance slightly downward prevents water intrusion, while passive vents maintain a steady flow of fresh air. Such a structure is not only protective against radiation and extreme weather, but it also maintains a constant temperature ideal for storing food, tools, or emergency supplies. This is a system that relies on understanding natural physics, not expensive technology. Small inventions made a big difference in habitability. A little-known innovation by engineer Crescent Carney revolutionized underground survival. His manually operated air pump, a simple flap fan made from plywood or sheet metal, could move up to 200 cubic feet of air per minute using only human power. This allowed families to remain underground for weeks or even months without suffocation. Today, survivalists still replicate variations of the Carney pump in root cellars and storm shelters. The lesson is clear. The most enduring survival designs are not those that rely on high technology, but those that enhance natural systems with simple, practical tools. The Cold War shelter movement offers timeless lessons. What made these shelters extraordinary was not luxury or sophistication. It was their philosophy. Builders crafted systems that worked in harmony with nature. Thermal mass, airflow, and soil density combined to create resilient, self-sufficient spaces. These principles are directly applicable today, whether you're designing an off-grid home, building a storm refuge, or exploring sustainable living techniques. Modern preppers often overlook the effectiveness of low-cost, high-efficiency designs, but history proves that working with natural forces often beats reliance on constant electricity or expensive materials. The survivors of history still teach us. Most large government bunkers from the Cold War now lie abandoned, cracked or flooded. Yet many small, privately built shelters still stand, preserved by the very earth that protected them. Some serve as storm shelters or root cellars, while others remain untouched relics, frozen in time. Their survival underscores a simple truth. Longevity comes not from technology, but from understanding and applying natural principles intelligently. For anyone interested in preparedness, history or off-grid living, revisiting these designs provides both inspiration and practical knowledge that can still be applied today. The Earth Cradle Shelter demonstrates that even in an age of high-tech solutions, the most reliable designs often come from basic science, ingenuity and patience. Soil, passive ventilation, and careful planning were all anyone needed to survive one of the tensest periods in human history. These are lessons that remain deeply relevant for modern survivalists, history buffs, and sustainable living enthusiasts alike. If this dive into Cold War survival ingenuity gave you valuable insight, don't let it stay buried. Share it with fellow history enthusiasts and survivalists, and subscribe to WARFRONT Survival for more in-depth explorations of lost skills, forgotten technologies, and practical survival wisdom. History has the answers. It's up to us to apply them.